Welcome back to the channel, Health, Wealth, and Wisdom in Black Spaces. That's Health, Wealth, and Wisdom in Black Spaces. I'm your host, Tim Alexander, and I want to talk about today is playing the long game. Playing the long game, meaning think long term. Everything you do, you need to be thinking, have a mentality of thinking long term. Long term as in 5 years, 10 years out. Where do you see yourself? Like I'm thinking now, I'm 50 years old. I'm thinking about where I want to be if the Lord sees fit to let me see 60. I'm thinking about where I want to be financially, spiritually, relationships wise, everything. Long term planning, long term goals, and reverse engineer back from that. Spiritually, I want to be in a stronger place as and how am I reverse engineering? This is my second year going through the Bible, different ways. The first one I used like the Bible in a year. This one I'm using the Bible recap book. Is exactly what it's called, Bible recap, and it's just breaking the Bible down. So by the time you get to 365, December the 31st, I will have read the entire Bible, taking it bit by bit. So I'm planning on doing that again next year, and then just coming that. So at 60, I want to be more. Just it's like just getting further and further into the Word, understanding the Word. So planning, uh, thinking long term is doing things like that. Where you want to be in 10 years, now reverse engineer to that point. Like I said, I accidentally I accidentally got into it without even knowing it. As I think back over my life, like I said, I've told you guys I did 26 years in the Air Force. Well, when I was sitting in junior high school, I was sitting there ear hustling. It was in between classes. I got to class early. I was in music class. Never will forget it. Junior high, Mr. Mills class. Mr. Mills was our teacher at the time, a music teacher before I think he left in the middle of the season. But anyway, it was him at that time, and him and Mr. Abercrombie, another teacher. They were just sitting there talking before in between classes, and I think I was the only student, maybe a couple of students, but I was listening to their conversation. And I think Mr. Abercrombie said something, and then Mr. Mills said, "Man, if I was one of these kids here, I would do 20 years in the military, and I'll still be young, and I have a retirement. Then I can go do a second career." And I thought about that. I didn't know nothing about retirement. There's just something that wasn't um, discussed. Um, Here I am in junior high, and he made that statement not knowing that I was listening to him. He said, if I was one of these little kids here or one of these young students, I will go in the military as soon as I graduate, get me 20 years out the way, get my retirement locked in. I never forgot that. I said, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I made my decision right then and there in junior high to go into the military. Didn't know which branch of service. That will come later on, what branch of service I wanted to join. Actually, I can go and tell that story now. I was in ROTC, Junior ROTC, and we had to do a project. I always been kind of, people that know me, I was a kind of a class clown in elementary, junior high, and high school. But I took this project serious in JROTC. So like I said, I already said in junior high, I made up my mind I'm going to do me. I'm going to follow that plan, that script, what he accidentally told me. But in high school, I was in JROTC, Army JROTC, and we had a project to do. So I went and did. For some reason I took this project serious. I kind of lackadaisically went through school until I got in college. I mean, got in the military and really buckled down on my studies. But anyway, I took this. I think I was in 10th grade, sophomore year. I took this project serious. They told us to pick a service to research and do a report on it. And I did so much. I picked, for some reason, I picked the Air Force, and I did so much research on the Air Force, their rank structure, what year they became a service, 1947, blah, blah, blah. You know, I went all out. I went up and did my presentation, and I did a fantastic job. At least that's what the teacher said, and I got like a 98. I didn't get too many 98s in my high school curriculum. Like I say, I was pretty much a class clown. But you know, the affirmation from that, getting that very high score on that report on the Air Force, that pretty much sealed the deal for me. You know, I'd already said I was going in the military, so that sealed the deal. I'm going in the Air Force. You know, I did good. One of my few good grades I've had in high school, and I'm going to join the Air Force. That's how I. Long story short, that's how I joined. End up going to the Air Force, doing 26 years, um, going in with just a high school diploma, leaving, retiring with a master's degree, going from enlisted to officer, and retiring as a major. Um, so all that to say is, I kind of accidentally got into the long-term planning because, like I said, it was just that one conversation. Sometimes it can be a conversation that you hear, and then you take action on it, you execute. And I executed on that. So thank you, Mr. Mills. I don't know if you're still around for that. You know, I was ear hustling that conversation, and I instituted long-term thinking into my life, and that's what I'm telling you today, my webs people, wealth in black spaces. Put long-term thinking in your life. Whatever your job is, think about it. Even if you don't see yourself at your job in the long term, what can I learn at this job that's going to help me on down the road? And you know, you always want to be stacking knowledge, stacking your skills, stacking your money, and just stacking, compounding your relationships, because you never know. Never burn bridges. I'm gonna do a podcast on never burning bridges, because the same people you meet going up are gonna be the same people you meet if you go down. So always never burn bridges. If you can head it, don't be a stepping stone on nobody, but try to build bridges instead of burning bridges, because you just never know. I still talk to people when I first came in the military, but you just never know. One of my first, when I retired from the military, one of my good friends offered me a job. I ended up didn't working out because I stayed in Warner Robins and got a job there. But he was like, I can get you in here in Huntsville. You can be, you know, pretty much like a vice plant manager for something. But it ended up didn't working out. But it was there. The networking was there. He ended up did not stand in the job anyway because, you know, COVID happened and so and so and so and so. But you know, think long term in everything you do. You That's one of the things that make Warren Buffett such a great investor. He's thinking long term. He's not thinking in quarters. He's thinking in decades. You know, that's why he's held on to most of his stocks. They're forever stocks. He's never selling Coke. He's never selling. I think he's into. He just recently purchased Lamar, the billboard company. The billboards, they do the advertising and stuff. He's not really into REITs, but that's the one he got into. But he's looking at it long term. He's not looking at doing a swing trade. He's looking at holding forever. That's why he mostly buys dividend stocks. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about, guys and gals. Long term, long term thinking. It's the way to go. Um, I'm thinking about long term. Always thinking about long term thinking. Everything I do, long term. Be long term in whatever you do. think about it in the long term. Don't be a short-term thinker. That's all I got. Hit the share this message with as many people you can. Hit the like button if you like what I'm putting down. Hey, if you don't hit it. But I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep grinding on this YouTube thing, getting better and better. Because I got long-term thinking. You know, no matter what happens, whether I get one viewer or 1,000 viewers or 1,000,000 viewers, I'm gonna take it day by day, week by week, year by year, get better and better, um, and dream big, think big, dream big, but start small. Dream big, but start small. Long-term thinking. Let's get it. I'm outie.